Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Today, I think, is going to be short but very important, and I'm going to get right into it. Okay, so this guy, Brandon Briggs, May 7th, said he had an angel come to him, and he says, I just want you to be prepared. The angel brought up the dollar again to me last night and told me the purchasing power of the dollar will be around 50%, and it's happening right now. Now, no surprise. We've been hearing this for now 3 years. But in that he's saying it's happening right now, and the next thing he's about to say, hopefully this gets our attention. Inflation is getting worse and worse. Yes, we know that. The purchasing power of the dollar is crumbling as we speak, day by day by day. He said there will be a major, now this is the important part, there will be a major event that causes a significant stock market crash, and it will send it into the 1930s type crash. It's coming. There will be an event that happens. I told you all to watch sometime in the wintertime. Now, I'm not a financial expert. I can't tell you that if you've got an IRA or a 401k, that if there's a stock market crash, you're going to lose all of it. I can't tell you that. But I don't have one. But if I had one, I would realize having it in the stock market or in some kind of a money market or some kind of paper, and they're all paper, out there is much more risky than having in gold and silver. I know that. I also know that Shane Warren was told, he spoke to Prophecy Club back in 2012, made a DVD called Storm, Judgment, and Revival, which you can watch at watchprophecyclub.com, watch it instantly. And he said that he heard an audible voice say that silver is going to skyrocket far more than gold. Now, with that in mind, I would suggest you write this number down, 800-200 gold. I can't give financial advice, but hopefully these guys can help you to make a better decision. I don't want to see you lose your life savings. And that's exactly what some of the prophecies say is about to happen. So if your money's in paper, it's very, very risky, 800-200 gold. That's the first point. Now remember, we are counting down the counting of the Omer. The counting of the Omer is the 49 days between first fruits, this year is April 25th, to Pentecost, which is June 13th. So as of the day you're watching this, the day it'll be posted, that will mean 36 days are remaining. Meaning, if this is the year of the counting of the Omer, if this is the year the headline Omer ushers in Palestinian state is going to show up, we would see it before June 13th. Now, there's nothing guaranteeing this is the year. And I would assume that there's an outside chance that maybe Israel gives the Palestinians a state and America doesn't twist her arm and force it. And that would mean that the next headline, here I'll just show you the headlines here. The next headline, well, this is the one we want. First is Omer ushers in Palestinian state. The next is catastrophe hits America. We're pretty sure from other prophecies that this was talking about a massive New Madrid earthquake. So we're watching these two prophecies to see if this headline, Omer ushers in Palestinian state, appears in some newspaper someplace. On to the next point. European states expected to recognize Palestinian statehood by May. This is the Jerusalem Post, came out April 29. Several European member states are expected to recognize Palestinian statehood by the end of May. Well, la-di-da, that fits with what we're talking about here. So there's not just one. There's many people saying there's about to be a Palestinian state. Why is that important? Because the angel spoke to Dimitri, said the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America, started by the communists. That is when Russia attacks and defeats us in one day. Now, I got a very interesting email today. Stan, if this is an event that happens each year in the Jewish culture, we're talking about the counting of the Omer, how can we know that this year is the year of the counting of the Omer, which will lead to a two-state solution? In theory, shouldn't we be watching every year? Or is there something that makes this year different from all the other years? And I answered him back, and I said, Dear Bob, this may not be the year. And let me make that very, very clear. There's nothing we have that guarantees this is the year. This may not be the year. We should and have been watching for the last 18 years because she got that prophecy in 2006. The likelihood went up drastically when Hamas attacked Israel October the 7th. It also increased even more when the red heifer appeared for the first time in 2,000 years. That's big. Since Daniel 9:27 says the Antichrist will stop animal sacrifice, and the red heifer allows animal sacrifice, that pushed it up also. Since we have 14 prophecies that say if America splits Israel, God will split America, we conclude the headline, Catastrophe Hits America, the second headline is an earthquake. Since Shane Warren and Chris Reed were both shown that the dollar falls 30%, inflation hits, is associated with the earthquake, and what I just showed you earlier, this guy is also saying it's going to happen. He's basically saying it's going to happen by wintertime. He didn't say that exactly. I want to make that clear, but in so many words, that's what he's saying. So, point number 8, what causes the dollar to fall and inflation to hit is when the Middle East starts selling oil in a currency other than the dollar, which started August 24th, 2022. We can conclude that all these events may lead to the perfect storm mentioned by Chris Reed. We are watchmen. So we are watching. We're not sure if this is the year of the fulfillment of the headline, Omer ushers in Palestinian state. But we are watching, so let's continue to watch. You remember the prophecy by Chris Reed that said, so goes Israel, so goes America? Look at this headline. Biden regime cuts off ammunition supplies to Israel as advisors panic over electoral threat from anti-Israel Democrats. Okay, so our Congress voted to send money to Taiwan, Ukraine, and Israel. But Mr. Biden has all the authority, apparently, to just simply stop it. Our Congress says send it to him, and Biden says no. Well, Israel is out of ammo, so America is going to be out of ammo, too. That's a big problem. Now let's get to the point of today's program. Russia can now claim USA, UK, and France attacked us first. British Foreign Secretary, Ukraine can use British missiles against Russian territory. Now, I've used the example I like because it explains it. Let's say there's two guys in the parking lot behind the school, and they're going to fight. And the crowd gathers around. Now, if it's just the two guys fighting, it's just the two guys fighting. But if one of them starts picking up rocks and starts throwing it at the other, and then his buddies start picking up rocks and handing it to him, let's say each person has one person throwing rocks, and each person has one person handing him rocks. How many people are involved in the fight? Got this? Okay. Two guys fighting, and then one starts throwing rocks, the other one starts throwing rocks. So now we have two people throwing rocks, two people handing them the rocks. How many people are involved in the fight? 4. Now, if there's more join in, they join in. Okay, look at what America and Ukraine and France have done. UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron said today, Ukraine can use British weapons to hit deep inside Russia territory. I'll read it again. Them's fighting words. Ukraine can use British weapons to hit deep inside Russia territory. Now, it's one thing when America, the Brits, and France send weapons over to say, okay, if Russia is coming on your property, you can use our weapons to defend yourself. But now what we're saying is you can use our weapons to actually go inside Russia and attack them. Okay, so if we made the weapons, the Brits or the French, if we made the weapons and they land on Russian soil, killing Russians, what do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, you're involved in the fight. And that's what this article says. Ukraine has the right to use the weapons provided by London to strike targets on Russian territory. That means, at this point, Russia has authority. As soon as one of those lands on Russian property, as soon as it kills a Russian, Russia can then turn around and say, we can hit Brits. And we can hit Brits directly. Okay, so now, when this happens, British will be involved in the war. Now let's go on to the next one. And it goes on to they're giving you a lot of money, Okay, let me make my point. Hal Turner says that they may be the linchpin to Russia declaring Britain a combatant. I agree. I think that Britain should say our weapons should not land on Russian territory. Now, if they're on your property and you're killing them with our weapons, okay. But don't put our weapons attacking Russians on their territory, because that involves them. He says, I don't see any reason the state actors can't be held to the same legal standard. They can't. Now let's go on. Unfortunately, it's not just Brits. France sends combat troops into Ukraine. Okay, so now we're sending French blood to kill Russian blood. Isn't that involving France directly? France has sent its first troops officially to Ukraine. Around 100, this is just the first tranche of 1,500 French Foreign Legion soldiers scheduled to arrive in Ukraine, being posted directly in a hot area and intended to help the Ukrainians resist. Okay, this is French blood killing Russian blood. What do you call that? You call that a French-Russian war, okay? There's more. U.S. NATO Chinook helicopters inside Ukraine airspace near Odessa. Okay, so there, by the way, it's misspelled. There's only one S in that. Anyway, so it says these two NATO Chinook, okay, we know that U.S. and NATO have been sending weapons inside Ukraine. And again, if they stay inside Ukraine, that's fine. But if you look at the last line, these are MH-47G helicopters. They have the things sticking out of the front of them so they can be refueled in flight. And they say that means those are special forces. That means that we probably have Americans. It didn't say it directly. I want to make that clear. But what it's saying is we probably have American blood on Ukraine soil fighting Russians, and that's involving us. That's involving us. So right now, Russia could say, we've been attacked first by America. We've been attacked first by, it's just a matter of time, by the Brits, by the French. Okay, let's go on. There's more. Russia to conduct tactical nuke drill to deter Western threats. Okay, so how do I explain this? Try to imagine two people that have their hands, okay, up like this, and they're pushing one each other. Okay, so here's the way the Russians look at it. If the U.S. and NATO, French, if the West pushes us this way, we can't back up. So we have to push also. So the harder the West pushes, the harder the Russians have to push. It's called mirror. In other words, whatever you do, we do. See, yeah, we hear about the Cuban Missile Crisis where Russia was putting weapons down in Cuba. But the other side of it we didn't hear. We were also putting weapons over, I forget what it was. I think it was maybe Poland. So we, in the Cuban Missile Crisis, you can look it up in some history book someplace, but we were actually the first ones to start putting missiles on Russia's back door. So when Russia wanted to put missiles on our back door in Cuba, that was only pushing back. All Russia is doing here is pushing back. Now look at what they say. Russia to conduct tactical nuke drill. In other words, America has now, they're talking about it, now moving missiles into Poland, nuclear missiles. And so what's Russia doing? They're moving nuclear missiles closer to America. Once again, we're getting closer to a nuclear war, which, of course, we prophecy students know and have been watching for a long time. Russia's defense ministry announced Monday that its forces were preparing to conduct a tactical nuclear weapons exercise in response, okay, that's mirroring, in response to Western threats and provocations. In order to increase the readiness of non-nuclear forces to perform combat missions, the exercises would involve missile units as well as aviation and naval forces. What is happening, the West, specifically America, is making the bear angry, just like the prophecy says, to the point where Russia's going to attack. Only Russia's not going to attack tick for tat, tip for tat, back, okay, they're going to wait. And at the right time, they totally annihilate America in 1 hour. Because they know you can't just get into a little fight with America. It's very strong. They know if you're going to attack America, you either don't attack or you take them totally out in an hour. There's no middle ground. That's what the prophecy says is going to happen. So according to the Defense Ministry, the exercises seek to maintain the readiness of personnel and equipment amid provocative statements and threats by certain Western officials. In other words, we shot our mouth off. But it's more than just our mouth. There's been Russians killed with American bullets, with Americans' ammunition. French President Emmanuel Macron said the question of sending Western troops to Ukraine would legitimately arise if Russia broke through Ukrainian front lines and Kyiv made such a request. Okay, I've said this before. If you'll go do, I don't know what, like the last program or two, I had them put a link down there to a link to a website that explains it. The most corrupt people in the world are from Kazakhstan, Ukraine, in that area, Nazis. And we went from Nazis in Ukraine over to Switzerland, then over to their buddies in Germany. And in World War II, that's who we were fighting. We were fighting Nazis that originated out of Ukraine. But today, we're sending money and weapons and probably blood to protect Ukraine. Obviously, we are on the wrong side. Okay, if we're on the wrong side, if we're supporting Nazis today and Russia is going against them, then that means that Russia didn't change who the enemy is. Russia was fighting the Nazis in World War II. Russia is still fighting the Nazis in World War III. But America has switched sides. America's on the wrong side. Do your research and stop listening to all of this news from Fox News and this other stuff. Garbage. Okay. Flash. Russia warns British ambassador Russia may strike British forces anywhere. Both French and British ambassadors, both of them, French and British ambassadors to Russia were summoned to the Russian Foreign Ministry this morning. When they came out, they were pale with nothing to say to the press. Why? The ambassador was warned that the Russian response to Ukraine strikes using British weapons on Russian territory could be any British military facilities and equipment on the territory of Ukraine and beyond. Meaning, if Russia were to attack America, France, or Britain tonight, they could say, you guys started it. You guys attacked us first. And it's going to get worse. Western actions in Ukraine approaching an explosive critical mass. But is anybody listening? No. Do you hear this on Fox News? No. Do you hear this on any of the news out there? Pretty much not. The Russian Federation will perceive what? Try this again. I think it means you receive. Russian Federation will perceive F-16s in Ukraine as carriers of nuclear weapons. In other words, it's provocation. Russia reserves the right to react in a mirror way, in other words, what you do, we have to meet, to the deployment of American-made missiles. We hope that exercises test the use of non-strategic nuclear weapons will cool down the hotheads in Western capitals. So it's the West, U.S., NATO, France, Brits, that are moving missiles closer to Russia. We are provoking a war that we're going to lose, say the prophecies. So we're starting production of medium and short-range missiles systems. We're out of money. We're out of ammo, just like Israel is. The United States is at full speed producing and testing medium and short-range missile systems in Europe and the Asia-Pacific region, deliberately heading towards an open military clash with Russia. Let me read that again. Deliberately heading towards an open military clash with Russia. Western countries are bringing the situation ever closer to the accumulation of an explosive critical mass, or we are making Russia attack. So when Russia attacks us, we're not going to be able to complain. Not one bit. We earned it, we deserved it, we asked for it, and you got it. Flash, French ambassador warned by Russia. The French ambassador has also been explicitly warned over Ukraine. The reaction by Paris was clear and unambiguous. Within just minutes of the departure, the French foreign minister in Paris issued a statement confirming that France would not send any military forces to Ukraine. So, France is now backed out of the deal. My guess is the Brits backed out of the deal. That leaves America. Fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries will attack and defeat America in 1 day and 1 hour. So great riches will come to naught. Trade completely halted between Turkey and Israel. Well, if you go and read Ezekiel 30 and 39, Turkey is going to be one of the nations that's attacking Israel for the Battle of Armageddon. So that makes perfect sense. Now, this is some more confirmation that the dollar is in the process of falling. National West Bank, UK, looking to withdraw cash, we may decline to give it. Bankers have begun intruding into personal matters that comes to returning the money the people deposit them. So, in the UK, if you take money into the bank, they might not give it back. What? Yeah, that's what it says. So customers say that they have to prove what the cash is going to be used for, and the bank may decline to give it. And the article goes on to say, in some cases, you have to give them a couple of days' notice. This was the article, or the notice put on the front door. Looking to withdraw cash, our primary aim is to keep customers safe and secure. No, that's the job of the police and military. And our branches follow our processes carefully to achieve this. This will include asking you questions about the purpose of your cash withdrawal. What? I think that falls in a nunya, as in none of your business, nunya, okay? My money, give it to me. Give it to me right now. And we won't speak highly of this. All of this is saying, my brothers and sisters, there's big trouble coming. There's big trouble. And that's the reason you better ask yourself, can you stay in your home for a year and not leave the 4 walls of your home? Live inside your home for whatever reason, fallout, gangs, I don't know, whatever the reason is. If you cannot stay in your home for a year, I mean, you need to, let me say it this way. I walked around for probably 3 days, just constantly. Lord, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to get prepared? And I think we could stay in our home for a year. I mean, we've got food, we've got water. If there's something else I need, Lord, show me. And I keep praying that, and He's not showing me. So my suggestion is you go to josephkitchen.com, get yourself some food. Prophecy Club has some water filters for you. Matter of fact, I think I haven't asked the office. I know we got a bunch of Berkey Royal filters, or not filters, but the whole Berkey unit. We got like 15 of them in. I don't know if they've all gone now or not. Probably all gone, but go check it out. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I would say the first thing, set in your heart that you're not going to deny Jesus. If they're taking your Bible and you got to give your life for your Bible, give your life. If they're taking your child, you got to give your life or deny Jesus. You don't deny Jesus. Or whatever the situation is. Don't deny Jesus. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let me talk about our 3 sponsors briefly. First, if you want to get gold or silver, we're going to send you to 800-200-GOLD or prophecyclubgold.com. prophecyclubgold.com. Second, if you want to get long-term emergency food, the only place I would send you to is josephskitchen.com. It is what I believe is God's long-term storage food. As you recall, Pharaoh and Joseph, what fed the world for 7 years was wheat. Most of your long-term storage places, $9,000 to $10,000 to feed one person for 1 year. Joseph's Kitchen can show you how to do it for about $1,000, one person, 1 year. And EMP Shield. If you want your car to start, if you want your computers to start after some kind of nuclear event, that's the device to get. And if you go to empshield.com and use the promo code PROPHECY, get your $50 discount and helps your Prophecy Club. I've not talked about our books for a long time, so I'm going to take a minute and explain them. First of all, I think this is the very best book that I've ever written. And it's called The Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, but it does not have the word rapture in it, does not discuss it. This is only talking about Bible prophecy. So the story is in 2017, I memorized the book of Revelation. I got 30 revelations, 2 visions, and an audible voice. God showed me the word first fruits is a secret door that links Revelation and the feasts, showing the correct chronological order of Revelation. One prophetic word says there is a lock that I put over a word in the book of Revelation. I'm going to open it to you, and it will turn many books written on the end-time message into obsolete books. That's this book. Then I next wrote Miss the Mark. And it's for anyone. It's simple. It's if they read 3 pages, they'll read the whole book. They read the whole book, they will never take the mark of the beast. Also, this Tribulation Secrets in Daniel is just the most important parts of Daniel that someone living in a tribulation needs to know. These are the best prophecies from the last 32 years of studying and teaching Bible prophecy from Dimitri Duduman, Michael Boldale, Leslie Johnson, Henry Groover, Shane Warren, Terry Bennett, Maurice Sklar, Augusto Perez, Doug Metzger, Bree Keaton, and more. Each set of these, in other words, this is a set of 10, a set of 10, a set of 5, a set of 10, a set of 5. It's a total of 40 books. You can get one set of each, 40 books, for a gift of $100 at prophecyclub.com. We also put together a Watchman's package, which contains 2 2-foot by 3-foot charts and my handwritten book of Revelation, 5 DVDs on the School of the Watchman, and 5 of the copies of Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, all valued at $355 for a gift of $200. prophecyclub.com.